Brand new tonight, Oregon and the Trump administration squaring off in federal court over the National Guard deployment in Portland. A trial started today over the president's authority to federalize and deploy the Oregon National Guard. Portland police leaders took the stand today in what's expected to be a 3-day trial. Let's break down the legal question first. The trial rests on a single federal law outlining when the president can federalize and deploy a state's National Guard. You maybe heard the reference to Title 10. That is the specific federal law in question. There are 3 times the president can take over a state's National Guard. 1, an invasion. 2, a rebellion. Or 3, the president can't enforce federal law with regular federal forces. The Trump administration argues this situation most closely falls under the 3rd reason. They also argue the president's decision is not reviewable by a judge. Oregon, of course, argues a judge can weigh in. The state says there is neither a rebellion at the ICE facility nor a situation where the federal government cannot enforce federal law with the resources currently at the facility. The Trump administration says only the president can make that call and that federal law enforcement cannot do its job without these Guard members. The judge will decide on that issue specifically and ultimately rule whether the deployment is lawful. Today, Portland police leaders took questions from lawyers for the state and the federal government. A PPB commander told lawyers federal officers are using force that is disproportionate to crowd behavior. He even said PPB officers have been hit with munitions from federal officers and been caught up in tear gas used with no heads up. The federal government says it intends to call leaders from DHS and ICE to the stand as well. Again, that trial is expected to wrap up Friday. Then the judge will rule. It's not clear how quickly that will happen.
Meantime, President Trump told reporters today that he could use the Insurrection Act to send troops into cities like Portland, but hasn't felt the need to do so, at least not yet.
You know, if I want to enact a certain act, I'm allowed to do it routinely, and about 50% of presidents have used that, as you know, and I'd be allowed to do whatever I want. But we haven't chosen to do that because we're doing very well without it. But I'd be allowed to do that, you understand that? And the courts wouldn't get involved, nobody would get involved, and I could send the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, I could send anybody I wanted, but I haven't done that because we're doing so well without it.
The Insurrection Act gives the president the power to send in the military to suppress a rebellion. President Trump has floated the idea of invoking the act multiple times and previously told reporters this month he would consider using it specifically if the legal battle takes too long.
I want to remind you the area that's under scrutiny here. The ICE facility is in South Portland, about 10 minutes from downtown. It's in an area that includes apartments, businesses, offices, and restaurants. Portland Police Chief Bob Day has repeatedly said protests are centered around one city block within the 145 square miles of the city.
And again, this federal trial is expected to last 3 days. Our crews are closely tracking the latest from inside the courtroom and outside Portland's ICE facility. We'll bring you updates as we get them.